Bakshi is also joining us on the phone line to decode what India's reaction has been to the terror attack that has taken place in Pahalgam. General Bakshi, nice of you to join us at this hour, but do put this in context for us, because it's not like peace initiatives of India have worked in the past, but at this point in time, the announcements seem to be heavier on the diplomatic side, the kind of action that India is taking, besides, of course, an economic strike, if you can call it that, with the suspension of that water treaty, the Indus Water Treaty. How are you reading the first kind of official reaction by way of how Pakistan is to be penalized for this? How are you reading them?
The simple fact is the declarations of war, as was done during World War I, World War II, has gone out of date. It is passé. So no one was expecting that there would be a declaration of war on Pakistan or an announcement of kinetic action, scope, scale, form it would take. That's never mentioned. You just do it, you don't talk about it. So I think it is the initial phase of our reactive measures or of our hit back against that dastardly attack of terror. And in the days to come, we might witness the unfolding of the kinetic component.
But how
Not to react kinetically, I think, in my humble opinion, would be a mistake, because it would only encourage Pakistan in its adventurism. I'm hopeful that there will be kinetic action. The Raksha Mantri has said so.
He has indicated, but I want to ask you about the effectiveness of surgical strikes in the past, and indeed the Balakot airstrikes as well. We haven't been able to contain them, otherwise we wouldn't have an incident like this. Wouldn't you agree, General?
Because they were not enough. Why just one surgical strike? Or why just one, why just one air strike, right? When the Pakistanis hit back, we should have continued and given more of the same. You see, one strike amounts to a shot across the bow, right? It warns the other side, look, you're crossing the red lines. And this could escalate out of control, right? It is serious. And for some time it worked. After the Uri surgical strike, for a few months it was all quiet. Then he picked up courage again and started doing it. After the Balakot strike, actually Pakistan was stunned for about a year, in which you did the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. Then Pakistan went crying to China. And China then staged the intrusions in Ladakh to try and tell Pakistan that, we are with you, we are watching your back, right? But then China itself had to was quite surprised to find the intensity of the Indian reaction, the promptness of the Indian reaction, how we mobilized, almost about 65,000 troops, mirror image the deployment, tank for tank, gun for gun, etc. And China had to blink. Now we have a thaw with China. So I'm very certain that this is not all. I am very certain, I am very hopeful that this is not all. This is just the overt component of our reaction, which can be announced to the world. It has been so announced. Kinetic operations are not announced. Kinetic operations are not emblazoned across. They are just delivered. Your actions speak louder.
Conclusive kind of action against Pakistan going. We have tried the diplomatic route as well. And then in later times, we're talking about the surgical strikes and the airstrikes. But it's not like earlier India hasn't extended an olive branch. There has been back-channel diplomacy. We have spoken about the ceasefire agreement, post-Kargil, the 2021 reaffirmation of the LOC calm. So all of that has happened, even if you keep talking about the Agra initiative. But having said that, it seems like nothing seems to be conclusive, whether it is on the kind of military action that we're talking about or the peace initiatives. How do you end this? Conclusively, how do you end it?
Look, you have to, the onus is on you. You have to break the logjam. Pakistan feels it has got you where it wants. Pakistan feels that with the nuclear overhang, India will never dare launch a major conflict or a serious conflict. I think Pakistan could be making a serious error. The Kargil war continued for 3 months. It raged for 3 months. I didn't see a single nuke landing in New Delhi or Islamabad, right? So the nuclear threat is overhyped, overplayed, and is often used as an excuse not to take action, which could make you uncomfortable or could be outcomes of which could be uncertain, right? The second factor is that Russia-Ukraine war on for 3 years. Russia has no dearth of nuclear weapons. In fact, it has over 1,650 nuclear weapons. We haven't seen a single one going off in Kyiv, right? And for somebody to tell us that, oh, the Ukrainians aren't good fighters, the Pakistanis are, and they are Genghis, the sons of Genghis Khan, and they'll use it against you without batting an eyelid.
But
I don't buy that argument either. The actors there are rational actors. The generals have huge bungalows, Mercedes cars.
But
they don't
General,
want it to go up in holy smoke, right? They will not press
but General
the nuclear
Bakshi,
button.
now at this point in time, if there has to be, like you're saying, this kinetic force that really takes over our retaliation and being able to end this conclusively, are you even suggesting, like our one defense expert was suggesting, taking POK this time? What are you saying?
Why not? That is an option. Isn't your government been talking about it? I haven't been talking about it. The ministers of the realm have been talking about it. So, what do they... I'm sure they have their credibility with the people. And the only thing is, yes, there are gaps in our military build-up. I would be far happier if those gaps were filled up damn soon. Our Air Force squadron strength is down to 31 when it should be 42. Correctly, it should be more than 45 to 50, right? That is quantitatively. Qualitatively, we don't have the Rafales in good number. We don't have any fifth generation fighters. China has 300 and it is going to give it to Pakistan. Pakistan will introduce fifth generation fighters in South Asia. It doesn't go to our credit. You cut the army by 1,80,000 during COVID. For 3 years, you stopped all recruitment to the army. Every year, 60,000 boys retire. 16 to 3, the maths is clear. You've cut the Indian army down by 1,80,000. Where do you think these were removed from? These were removed from Rajouri, from Punch, from Riyasi, from Kathua, from Kishtwar, from Doda, where Pakistan found a gap.
How are you rating our ability to carry out this kind of conclusive strike?
Even with what we have, you can cause Pakistan a hell of a lot of pain, right? That is my conviction, and it can be put to the test. But not doing anything at all, no kinetic response at all, is not a good option. It will only encourage Pakistan's adventurism.
General Bakshi, indeed, I mean, this is a moving piece at this stage. We've got only the first reaction from the Indian side. We'll have to wait and see how Pakistan reacts to the key announcements that have been made. But on the kinetic force and how India's defense ministry acts, it's going to be very closely watched. And of course, we will be tracking that space very closely and reconnecting with you, General Bakshi. It's a pleasure getting in your perspective tonight on an important day where we're talking about India and its response to the kind of act that we've seen, the terror that has been unleashed in the valley in Pahalgam. That concludes our continuing coverage, and we will keep you on top of all developments. Of course, the word came out now from the Ministry of External Affairs earlier today. Vikram Mishri was speaking, and a slew of measures and diplomatic at that have been announced. But key also is India suspending the Indus Water Treaty with Pakistan. There will be much more on this as we roll along. So you do keep tuned to ET Now. But for the moment, from me, Vikram Oza, and the entire team bringing you this breaking news, thank you and good night.